Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Jasper Vincent Alontaga. I hope that you are doing well with your online preparations for the upcoming school year. For this session, I'll be sharing with you an online learning portal for mathematics. So without further ado, let us begin. My presentation is entitled Online and Inclusive Solutions for Mathematics. Let us begin by reviewing the TPAP Framework of Technology Integration. According to Kohler and Mishra, it explains the set of knowledge that teachers need in order to utilize technology. These three types of knowledge are content knowledge, which is CK, pedagogical knowledge, which is PK, and technological knowledge, which is TK. As a Venn diagram, we can see that there are intersections among these three types of knowledge. We have PCK, which is the intersection between pedagogical and content knowledge. We have the TCK, which is the intersection between technological and content knowledge. And we have TPK, which is the intersection between technological and pedagogical knowledge. The goal is for teachers to find their center of technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. It's also important to note that TPACK is encircled by context. This is because in the utilization of technology, we always have to consider the affordances of our context. I firmly believe that teachers already have a big circle of content knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. Teachers have big content knowledge, being subject matter experts of their courses. Similarly, teachers who have handled their courses multiple times also have big pedagogical knowledge. When I interact with teachers, the main challenge always falls with how to further widen their technological knowledge. In this regard, the problem would always be in relation to the TCK and the TPK. This is where our online learning portal for mathematics comes in. When I interact with teachers transitioning to online distance learning, one of the main challenges that they mention is the amount of preparation time involved in moving towards online distance learning. I'm sure this sentiment echoes to you right now. The good thing is that this is where open and inclusive solutions come in. According to Abe-Wardena, open and inclusive solutions are materials, strategies, processes, and technologies that are available on an open license and therefore can be used and reused to enhance learning by increasing access to resources and learning experiences. There are different types of open and inclusive solutions. You might be more familiar with what we call OERs, or Open Educational Resources. But aside from OERs, we also have the FOSS, which are free and open source software, as well as OAs, or Open Access to Scientific Information. The learning portal for mathematics that we're going to talk about this morning is an example of an open educational resources. And there are a lot of OERs right now that can help teachers cut down the preparation time needed for their online distance learning. Some of them are shown right now in the screen, and for our mathematics teacher, I'm sure you might be familiar with Khan Academy. But aside from that, I would love you guys to visit World Possible, which is one of my favorite OERs, and CK-12. Locally, there are also portals that contain open educational resources across various subjects. You might be familiar with the DepEd Commons, but for our math teachers here, I would love you to look into the YouTube channel of Number Bender. He is a Filipino content creator and he makes a lot of mathematics videos that you can use for your online classes. Another local OER that we will highlight is the WeLearn website. The WeLearn website is a result of our challenge grant research in De La Salle University. You can access it from the link provided in your screen right now. As a member of Dr. Nuncio's team who came up with the WeLearn website, our main goal was to provide a portal that consolidates existing resources across different subjects for senior high school. As I said, it's always a challenge to look for resources that you can use for your topic. The digital resources and tools in the WeLearn website were initially categorized based on these considerations. Number one is type, whether it is for information, such as animation, video clips, audio, for situating, such as simulation, drill and practice, tutorials, construction, like Web 2.0 tools, communication, and assessment, quizzes or tests. The second was availability, whether the tool or resource is available offline, meaning downloadable, or requires internet connection. Third is design, whether the resource is designed specifically for Filipino learners or for global audience. Fourth is the user role, whether the students will simply consume the tool or resource or they would interact or produce output with it. And the last consideration was interactivity, whether the tool or resource allows only single or multiple users at a time. The online portal for mathematics covered the general mathematics course. It is composed of 11 modules that spans across 3 major topics of basic business math, functions and their graphs, and logic. As mentioned, it's composed of not just resources such as website, videos, and presentations, but also interactive elements like drill and practice, exams, simulations, and other tools. We'll take a look at them a little later. Going back to the TPACK, another challenge in online distance learning is the TPK. In this regard, the important consideration is the instructional design in online distance learning. A quick recall, when we talk about instructional design, it is the process of arranging for learning to happen safely, certainly, thoroughly, and expeditiously. And there are a lot of models of instructional design that we can adapt in the online environment. In the WeLearn website, what we adapted is the 4 A's instructional design. The 4 A's correspond to 4 instructional phases in learning, namely activating activity or awareness. This includes icebreakers, motivation, and access to prior knowledge. The second A is assumption verification, which is an avenue for students to make conjecture and find evidences to support their conjecture, exploration, and inquiry. The third phase is analysis and abstraction, which is the lesson proper and generalization. Finally, the last phase is application or assessment, which can involve formative and summative assessment. This is where we also consolidate learning to make it relevant. In the WeLearn website, after we have identified the category of the tool, we also identified where it can be best used in what phase of instruction. Additionally, although the website was created before the pandemic and is meant primarily for web-supported instruction in the face-to-face classroom and for blended learning. Nonetheless, this can also be used in your online distance courses. So let's go ahead and visit the website. This is the homepage of the WeLearn website, and from the top navigation button, we can simply click on Mathematics. From the Mathematics page, just scroll down and select one of the subtopics. In this case, let's go ahead and select Basic Concept of Stocks and Bonds. First thing that you will see for each subtopic are the learning outcomes and performance standards, as well as learning competencies based on the DepEd curriculum. As mentioned, the module is composed of 4 distinct phases, from activating, assumption verification, analysis and abstraction, and application and assessment. And in each phase, there are resources and tools that teachers can use. In this example, what we recommend to use in the activating phase is a simulation activity. So you can just click on the icon and it should redirect you and your students to that particular resource. Going back to our example, we can see that there is another recommended simulation activity that can be used for assumption verification phase. You can also see that there are a lot of resources for the third phase, which is really where your students will learn about the concept. You don't have to use all of these resources. As part of the challenge is that we want you to reflect on which one works best for your context. You can see here there are multiple videos and websites in relation to the topic. Again, you just click on the icon and it should redirect you to that particular resource. In this case, it's a video resource from Investopedia that talks about stocks versus bonds. Scrolling further, we can see activities we can use for application and assessment. An example of which is an online exam of how well you understand the market. Let's check it out. Let's take a look at another topic under functions and their graphs. For this particular topic, we can see that there is a suggested YouTube video for the activating activity, simulation and web resource for assumption verification, website and blog for analysis and abstraction, and finally, a practice test about function. Let's take a look at one module under logic. So again, you can see that under activating, we have a drill and practice puzzle that you can use. We have a website for assumption verification. We have YouTube and presentation for analysis and abstraction. And for assessment, we have an online exam, which is an argument and proof exercise. For our math teachers, I recommend that you go through our 11 modules and see if there are resources you can use for your own online courses. Going back to our TPAP framework, we can now revise this as follows. For PCK, we have the Senior High School Mathematics. For TCK, we have the WeLearn website. And for TPK, we have the 4 A's. All of this, when we put together and critically reflect, should lead to a successful ODL design. Again, I pose to everyone the challenge of how you can successfully integrate our WeLearn 4A's Instructional Design into your senior high school math in order for you to design a successful online distance learning experience in your own context. With that said, let me wrap this short sharing and encourage everyone to visit the WeLearn website, and hopefully you can use some of our resources in your online distance courses. As I won't be able to join the Q&A session, I'm sharing with you guys my email. So if you want to reach me and talk about the online portal for mathematics, feel free to do so. Bye-bye and good luck to everyone.